Hey, Carpool Crew, Pastor Justin here. Happy Monday. I'm excited for a whole new week of Carpooling with Jesus. Before we jump in, I want to give a big shout out to Maverick, Grace, Claire, and Mason out in Springville, Alabama. We have so many listeners in Alabama. I love that. I'm so thankful you are making the podcast a part of your day. And I can't forget Sophia out in Sunrise, Florida. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday, Sophia. I hope all of you have an incredible day. Don't forget that God loves you and God loves all of you out there in the Carpool Crew. I want to jump in with today's verse, which is Matthew chapter 20, verse 16. Here's what it says. Jesus said, "So the last will be first and the first will be last." Now, I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking, well, I don't want to be last in line. I like being first in line. I always run to the door to be first in line if you're lining up for someone. Or I love being picked first. You know, when we're picking teams on the recess field, like who wants to be last? Let's talk about it. Jesus told a story about workers who were hired to work in a field. Now, we've talked about this story before. It is an incredible one. It's one worth remembering. Some workers showed up early in the morning and worked all day. Others showed up later and worked less time. But at the end of the day, the owner paid every worker the same amount. The workers who worked longer weren't happy about it. They started comparing. I worked harder. I was here longer. I deserve more money. And Jesus used that story to teach something really important about God. God doesn't compare the way people do. See, we compare all the time. Maybe you compare your binders of football cards or baseball cards or Pokemon cards. Maybe you compare the bikes you have or your reading levels or the video games that you have or what level you got to in Fortnite. Maybe you compare your clothes or your shoes. Comparison makes us feel proud sometimes, but most of the time it makes us feel jealous or disappointed. See, that feeling of being proud is very short-lasting. In reality, Jesus was showing that God doesn't love people more because of what they do. See, doing more doesn't mean God loves you more. See, God doesn't rank his kids. He doesn't have favorites. He doesn't keep score the way we do for a game or a test. God looks at the heart, not performances. So what does it mean that God looks at the heart? This is something we're going to talk more about on the podcast because this is a theme that comes up throughout the entire Bible. People look at the outside, but God looks at the heart. See, Jesus was saying here, you don't earn God's love by doing better than someone else. You already have God's love. So what does it look like for you at school today? First, when you notice that you're comparing yourself to others, pause and remind yourself that God sees you right where you are. You don't need to be compared to anybody. Second, focus on doing your best. Not being the best, not being better than someone else, being your best. In every test you take, in every direction the teacher gives, in every moment at home with your siblings and with your family or with your neighbors or friends in the neighborhood, do your best. Here's the big takeaway today. God does not compare you to others. Remember, no matter where you are or how you're listening, God loves you. And parents, if you love today's podcast, consider starting your week off with an Instagram photo. Snap a photo of you guys enjoying the podcast and post it and tag us at Carpooling with Jesus. And before you go, answer this question together. When do you notice yourself comparing to others at school? And how does it make you feel? I'll see you tomorrow on Carpooling with Jesus.